So in journaling and junk journaling, you've probably heard the term ephemera being used a lot. So today I thought I would give you guys a whole bunch of examples of what ephemera is, as well as talk about how to accumulate it and how to use it in your journaling, and also why you should use it in your journaling. So I have here on my desk a whole bunch of different types of ephemera that I have accumulated from my own life. So I'm just going to go through them and talk about some different ideas, which will hopefully give you some inspiration to look around you and use your own ephemera for documenting your own life. These are things I've kept from probably mostly just the last couple of months. There are also a few older pieces here as well. So first of all, what is ephemera? So ephemera, by a rough dictionary meaning off the top of my head, they are things that you use in your life temporarily. Typically you'll use them like once, for example, a ticket, a train ticket or something, you'll use it once and then you don't have a real use for it anymore. A lot of people just throw it away. So some examples of these off the top of my head, really common ones: tickets, receipts, notes, handwritten notes from other people, drawings, business cards, packaging, food packaging, stuff like that you typically just use once and then most people would throw away. So for me, I'm a memory keeper, so I tend to keep those things. And you will see that here on my desk. I've got a bunch of things here to show you as examples. And some things will be more meaningful than others. Typically what I do, and I've trained myself to do this over time, is just keep things and then throw them into a drawer or into a tub, throw them all into the same place and just keep them there. And that way, whenever I do get time to journal, I can go through my ephemera and see what things I want to journal about, what I want to document, and I'll just pull from there. I'm not someone who always gets something from my life, say a ticket or something, and just can immediately put it down into my journal that day. So I just keep it all together and then I come back to it. And I typically will just pair things together, even if they're from completely different events in my life. So typically I'll pull from that box, and sometimes not everything that I keep will end up being kept forever. So sometimes I'll throw all my ephemera into my drawer, and then whenever I come back to it, or whenever I eventually do get to it, I'll decide that actually it's not really that significant. I'm just going to recycle it instead of keep it. And then other times I'll have things that have a strong memory attached to it that will then work its way into my journal. So let me show you a couple different examples of types of ephemera. So one really easy type that most people probably would accumulate is from things that you buy. So I know, especially in these times right now, most of my purchases are online, and so sometimes you will get ephemera that comes with that, whether it's a business card or a thank you note or a voucher or a handwritten thank you note. So things like that come with orders, things that you purchased. This is stuff that I would definitely consider to be ephemera. So a lot of this would work its way into my journal and then some of it wouldn't. So anything that's got a handwritten note on it, for example, like these, I would definitely put into my journal. And then anything else like this, I would just consider the item that I purchased. Is it meaningful? Is it something that I would really like? Something that I was impressed with? Things like that I would consider whether or not I would put it into my journal. This is an expired voucher that I found, but that is just one example of one way you can easily accumulate ephemera. So I know whenever I keep stuff like this, for example, it helps me to remember what I purchased, why I purchased it, whether I liked it, and also the experience with the shop. So I could journal about the trims that I got, which I just used in a journal collection recently, and then that could prompt me to journal about the whole journal collection. So these things, they might seem really materialistic, but they can have more meanings behind them. So if they have more meanings behind them, that's typically when I will put them into my journal. Another type of ephemera is packaging, and I have some here to show you guys. So I have some food packaging, like lolly packaging. I have a tea and a coffee wrapper. This is just from a sample that came in something that I got. This is actually from Easter. And there's some packaging there. This is some daffodil bulb packets. So this stuff really might look like a whole heap of junk, and some of it is, but some of it also has more meanings attached to it. So this stuff's not really that important to me. This is actually from when my nana passed away. We all planted some daffodil bulbs in memory of her, so that's meaningful and important to me. So that's something that I'll put into my journal. This is from Easter. I don't actually have very strong memories from the last Easter that we had, so I probably will not even end up keeping this, but if I had some strong memories to go with it, I could definitely pair that up with journaling. And this is a tea packet that my sister brought over for me, so this is something that I would journal about. It's got meaning behind it, and I could use that as a prompt to journal more about my sister, etc. So there's that one. This is just a latte packet that I tried. I could put that into my journal, it's not that meaningful. And then some lollies that my husband brought home from work that were pretty good. So I could definitely use all of these things to prompt more journaling, but in reality, only a couple of them are quite meaningful to me. So these two are probably the most meaningful to me that I would definitely put into my journal and journal about. The rest of it, I could definitely do so. I may decide to throw some of those away instead. So whilst you can keep everything from your life, you don't have to keep everything. Now, a more meaningful ephemera that you can collect are like notes and things from other people. So I have a painting here from my son. I also have a little note here from my son. It's like a little ticket. It's really cute though because it says love you mum and stuff on it. And then I also have a little envelopey thing that my other son made. I'm not really sure how it's supposed to work, but it's really cute, so I've kept that. Also have a sticker. This sticker was stuck to my son's lunchbox when he came home from school, so I thought that was pretty cute. I kept that. It came off the lunchbox because it lost its sticky when I washed it. I just kept that because I thought it was cute. So those are some more more meaningful types of ephemera that you can keep. Any kind of notes or drawings, anything like that that comes from people that you really love, that stuff is definitely going to have more meaning attached to it. A friend of mine recently shared some vintage envelopes with me, and they had this little wraparound packet around the envelope, so I kept that. And I would use this to journal about my friendship instead of journaling about the envelopes in particular. So I always like to use ephemera to prompt journaling that's more meaningful than like what the ephemera is. So all of these, they're just packets, they're just paper. I use them to journal about the people behind them and the memories behind them. This is like a little serviette and cutlery holder. This actually came from a holiday I took with my husband a year or so ago. I already put one of these into my journaling about that, and this one's just been laying around. I actually kept one recently from a friend's farewell dinner. I don't know where it went. I've been trying to find it because that was actually quite a meaningful piece of ephemera to me. But that is just an example. So these could come from a meal that you had with someone. You can use it, you can tuck photos and stuff inside it, and you can also use it to prompt your journaling from that memory that it came from. I also recently went with a friend of mine. We went to some thrift stores or charity shops, and we also stopped and had some lunch. So I just picked up this little flyer thing and this little business card. So you can always pick up menus and business cards and stuff like that from places that you go. You can pick up maps, postcards, stuff like that from anywhere you may visit. This is actually just the placeholder from the lunch. I don't know if you can see, but it's just got like an embossed pattern on it. So that was just laying out on the table where we ate. And I could pair all of these pieces together and do some journaling about that day. I also have here a couple of little wristbands from Inflatable World. From a little while ago, my kids went, or one of them went to a birthday party, and so we just paid for the other two to have a play while we were there. So these are the wristbands that they wore while they played there. And I could definitely use these in my journaling and print out some photos to go along with them. So those are some really cool types of ephemera that you can keep. Some more examples. So these are some beautiful packaging from some gifts. These are actually my sister's that she got for her birthday. They're not mine, but I wanted to use them as an example for you guys. So she was going to throw them away. I said I would keep them because I thought they had a really beautiful pattern. But if these were gifts that I personally received, then they would be even more meaningful to me. I could journal about my birthday, I could journal about the gifts that I got, and I can utilize these in my journaling. Along that same line, this is a gift bag that she got. This is actually the gift bag that I got for her and put the gifts in it for her, and again she was going to recycle this. I can definitely use this pretty floral pattern, and if this was from my birthday it would be even more meaningful to me, but I can still journal about her birthday and all of that using this as ephemera. You guys have seen me use this wrapping paper in my journaling before. These are from some gifts I received from a different sister. I've got a couple of sisters, so from another sister. And I have been using up every last little scrap of this wrapping paper because it's really pretty and it has meaning behind it because it came from her. So I would consider that to be ephemera as well. I think paint chips as well. If you ever do a paint project, these are actually from, we're painting the playroom at the moment, and these were a couple of samples that I picked up. So if you ever do like a project, you can keep paint samples or even just use like a sample of the paint as ephemera from that project. I also consider photos to be ephemera as well, even though typically you wouldn't really, I think most people wouldn't really discard photos. They're something that you usually would keep, but I would still consider them to be ephemera because they are a physical memento from a memory that's passed. So you can use them to capture a time that passed. So that's why I kind of consider them to be ephemera as well. So those are some really common types of ephemera. I think once you start to train yourself to look around you and to keep things from your day-to-day life, it becomes easier and it becomes some sort of like second nature to you. I know to me it does. I always am thinking, should I keep this to remember it? Could I journal about this? And as you can see, I accumulate a lot of stuff. And I think always think outside of the box. So an example of that, this is a game, it's an escape room game that my sister brought over and we all played it together, the whole family, and it was really fun. You can kind of only play it once though, because once you know the answers to the escape room, you can't really play it again. But it has all this really cool game pieces inside it. So you could use any of these pieces to journal about that day, and I think I will keep a couple of these pieces to journal about it because it was really fun to get all the family together and to play a game like this. So always think outside the box. So think outside the box, look around you and think about what things you could put into a journal. I know I've put things like coins, you can put serviettes, you can put pieces of fabric like hankies, all sorts of things in all different shapes and sizes. And it makes your journaling so much more meaningful. And I think it really helps to imprint those memories into your mind. So if we take a really quick glimpse at my journal here, I'm gonna have a flip through for this soon. I'm just going to quickly point out some ephemera that I can see as I flick through. So a pressed flower, some photos. This was something that came in some happy mail. This is packaging from a perfume bottle. I've got some cinema tickets, more photos. This is from something that I purchased. This is a clipping from a newspaper. I've got more little pressed flowers. These are from some earrings that I got. There's a Kit Kat wrapper there. There's some paint samples in here. A note card here from a little friend of mine. Some drawings from my kids. All sorts of stuff from my day-to-day life. I don't want to show you guys every single page because I'm going to have a flip through of this very soon. But when you decide to keep ephemera and put it into your journaling, it really helps you because you can use it to prompt journaling and you can use it to remember special days and moments from your life. So what I'm going to do now off camera, I'm going to use the last 3 pages in my journal and stick some of this ephemera in here. And then I'm going to film a flip through of this journal for you guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope it inspires you to keep mementos from your own life and use them in journaling to make your journaling so much more meaningful, as well as to help really ingrain those memories into your own mind. If you have any more questions, you're welcome to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will see you in my next video. Bye.